I'm here with Mayor Nick Gradisar, Commissioner Escar, a number of other elected leaders, CDOT officials, surveying the damage from the horrific accident that occurred a couple days ago. I want to begin by offering condolences to the family of Lafayette Henderson, father of 6, grandfather of 15. We send our thoughtful condolences to his family. I'm sure they're going through a very difficult time. The National Transportation Safety Board is on site. They are conducting their investigation. There will be an initial report and a full report that's issued with regard to this horrific accident. We're focused here today on the process for repairs to get Highway 25 fully open. This is one of the most important arteries, not only for commuter traffic between Pueblo and Colorado Springs, but also for interstate commerce, for trucking. This is a very important route. We have worked very hard with CDOT and prioritized reopening the highway safely. Highway 25 South will reopen within a couple hours, thanks to the hard work of CDOT. As you can tell, northbound was hit a little bit harder. It will reopen tomorrow. We're pushing to open as soon as possible tomorrow, but they're telling us it'll be reopened by tomorrow evening. Of course, we're hoping that Highway 25 northbound will do everything we can to open that midday as quickly as possible. There will be reduced speeds in this corridor for some time, but not highly reduced. We're expecting speeds more like 50 miles an hour through here for a while until the work is completed. As for the bridge work, the rail link will be reestablished within several weeks, but I want to reassure my fellow Coloradans this will not affect supply or power in Colorado. Coal is being delivered to Comanche by alternate routes, and that's the only Colorado destination supplied from this route. This particular coal train that was derailed was bound for New Mexico. And again, thanks to the work of BNSF and Union Pacific with joint lines, there's not expected to be any supply interruptions to our power producing plants. So again, to highlight, we'll get southbound opened within the next couple hours here of Highway 25. Northbound will be opened tomorrow mid to late afternoon. If not earlier, we're going to do everything we can to work hard to do that. The only thing I would add is that there will be in about 3 weeks or 4 weeks or so one more scheduled closure when they do the final bridge restoration work, and people will be notified that ahead of time, and we're working closely with BNSF and CDOT to minimize any impact to Highway 25 users during that subsequent closure. En español. Vamos a abrir este calle muy pronto por la dirección del sur. Vamos a abrirlo este día en 1 o 2 horas. El norte tiene un poco más dificultades, pero vamos a abrirlo mañana antes de tarde para podemos resumir tráfico normal en este corredor. Por algunos días van a ser un poco más despacio en este área, pero vamos a abrirlo. Estamos trabajando con el Departamento de Transportación y el ferrocarril BNSF para abrirlo con seguridad y para reparar la línea de ferrocarril también. Gracias. Questions?
Governor, can you tell us who's in charge of inspecting the bridge? And if you would look up at the cameras and not at me down here, please. Who's in charge of inspecting the bridge? And if you would look at the cameras and not down here.
So again, we have no reason to believe that the bridge played any role in this accident. I would reference the initial findings from the Transportation Board and of course the subsequent findings, but again, there's no reason to believe the bridge played any role in this. We will await additional information from the investigation about that.
Governor, can you speak to the economic impact this has had, both with this rail being closed, but also I-25 and main corridor being closed?
Yeah, so I mean, you know, Mayor Gradisar, Mayor Yemi can really testify to the importance of this corridor. First and foremost, of course, for commuters and travelers between Pueblo and Colorado Springs, but this is also a critical freight corridor for the entire country. This is the main northwest route in the middle of the country. So working to minimize the disruptions is absolutely critical. That's why we instructed CDOT to be on staff, to position and be ready to begin repairs. I want to thank the National Transportation Safety Board for allowing CDOT to begin that work, even as their investigation is ongoing. I also want to thank BNSF. They were able to fly some drones and get some evidence early that then freed up CDOT to begin our work as early as possible. Our priority has been, yes, we understand an investigation needs to occur, but let's make sure that doesn't stand in the way or delay the reopening of Highway 25.
Governor, are you concerned about rail safety in the country?
So again, I'm thankful for the IIJA and federal investments that are coming down for rail safety. That's been a big focus of the rail package. That money is starting to get out as well. And of course, making sure that both our roads and our highways are safe is critically important. And this emphasizes, of course, the importance of rail safety, and we're expecting additional investments. Colorado's doing everything we can to maximize the investments we pull down from federal funds, including making some state matching funds available, and a lot of the rail funds are oriented towards better rail safety.
Governor, there's some new legislation proposed by Southern Colorado senators to improve rail safety, especially concerning hazardous material carrying trains. Would you support that, and is there any other measures that the governor's office would take to prevent things like this from happening again?
Well, we've not seen any particular piece of legislation yet. And again, I think we're always interested in leveraging our state funds to pull down the maximum amount of federal funds around rail safety. When we're talking about improvements that are necessary, for an example, to move to passenger rail, you need positive train control, you need additional inspections. There's a lot more safety improvements that need to go in. Those cost money. But we're excited that the IIJA and President Biden have delivered the opportunity for us to pull down more funds than we thought would be possible to be able to improve the safety of rail here in Colorado and beyond.
Governor, who owns the bridge and who's responsible for inspecting it?
What do we want to say definitively on that? Does CDOT want to address that, or does BNSF want to address that? Yes. Matt.
Hi, Matt Enzio, CDOT Communications Director. Good morning. CDOT continues to look through documentation dating back to the late 50s regarding roles, responsibilities, and ownership with this bridge structure. I want to be careful not to speak on behalf of BNSF, but I believe that they will have updated comments for people as well as we both continue to dig through our respective records. This is an old structure. There's a lot of documentation.
It's been around since '58, as I understand. Are you aware if it needed any repairs at this point, or when its last inspection was?
The last CDOT inspection was in 2022. However, we don't have information regarding the regular inspections and maintenance that BNSF would have performed as they would normally do by running trains over the structure.
And follow up to that question, is CDOT responsible for inspecting it, or is BNSF responsible?
BNSF would have primary responsibilities regarding inspection and maintenance because of the fact that they are the ones operating rail service over that line. CDOT does periodically inspect structures that don't carry vehicular traffic, which is why, for example, we inspected the structure in 2022.
Is there a bigger concern that CDOT isn't aware of other bridges or infrastructure that they're responsible for or possibly responsible for?
We have a full catalog of the bridges for which we're responsible.
Telemundo, do you have a question? In your
I want to emphasize that that there's we have no evidence that the bridge played any role in this. In fact, the initial findings are to the contrary. The BNSF is stepping up to replace the bridge. They will be moving one segment of bridge from another state to complete the connection, and that, as I said, will require additional highway closures of up to 24 hours in a few weeks, and we want to work to minimize the impact to residents during that period.
One more question here. I had one more question for you. In your expertise in terms of bridge inspections, how often is a railway supposed to be inspected, and do you know that?
That's a question for BNSF.
Okay.
Do we know the last time BNSF inspected this track?
That's another question for the railroad.
Is there no one that can speak on that?
Any other questions for the governor? Or can you speak on the infrastructure bill from Biden and how that plays
Yeah.
into preventing?
So the biggest part of the rail funds in the bipartisan infrastructure bill are safety related. Many of them require state matches, and those are just starting to get out. As those get out, and Colorado is working hard with Senator Henriksen, who's here, with Senator Exum, who's here, many others, to make sure that we maximize what we're able to pull down for Colorado for rail improvements. Rail safety improvements also focused on being able to do more commuter traffic and commuter passenger traffic in a safe way.
Do you know how much money you're getting or matching with?
So Colorado has several pots of money that we've identified to help pull down that match. We feel that there are hundreds of millions of dollars that will likely come to Colorado over the next decade under the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, specifically for rail, as long as we align our priorities correctly and do everything we can to pull down that money.
In terms of the urgency of addressing rail infrastructure and improving that, obviously this incident was horrific, but it could have been worse had it been carrying more hazardous materials. Could you talk about the urgency of addressing rail infrastructure in terms of this incident and how...
Yeah, I think this really just emphasizes how important rail infrastructure is for our country. We always see, and it's sometimes more visible, the trucker traffic on Highway 25, but when you think about who delivers coal to Comanche, to New Mexico, moving critical freight across our country, rail is in many ways the transportation backbone of this country and is incredibly important. So that's why I really applaud President Biden, the Bipartisan Infrastructure Act, for doubling down on making sure that we have this backbone in place to move goods and products across the country for the next century.
And then do you have anything to say to the motorists who are in traffic on the road, just kind of a hang in there, while, I know that CDOT is working day in and day out to clean this up.
Yeah, well, again, we are going to have southbound open within just a couple hours here. It'll be open by this evening. Northbound will be open tomorrow. We have aligned the entire state response, and I want to thank Mayor Gradisar and others to really make sure that we minimize disruption to motorists and get this open as quickly as possible. I've talked to Secretary Buttigieg twice. He has also advocated with the National Transportation Safety Board. I want to thank them, National Transportation Safety Board, for allowing us to do these repairs, as long as we are letting them do the investigation alongside it. Our nightmare scenario would be that they came here and said, we're freezing the scene until we're done looking at it for a week and you can't do a thing. Thankfully, that wasn't their attitude. They're doing the investigation. We're doing the work. They're going to be here for a while till they wrap up, but it hasn't stood in the way of us doing the work we need to get the highway open.
A follow-up question for Matt, please. Matt, can you just tell us, when you guys inspect bridges, can you just kind of give us an explanation of how you inspect and what you inspect on bridges and railways?
There's an entire process. I'm happy to take it off the side. I don't know that our engineers can perhaps join with that.
They can do a more detailed process on bridge inspection if you like.
Is there anyone with BNSF that could speak?
I think we're done with the governor. All set?
You're welcome to address your questions to them. We're the state here and local officials, but I want to thank all of you for being out here. Again, I would just say BNSF has been a very good partner in this. They've taken responsibility. They're going to be repairing the rail line. We have not had any issues with BNSF, and I want to also thank the National Transportation Safety Board for allowing us to get the highway open while they were doing their investigation work. So from our perspective, again, this is a terrible tragedy. But I want to thank our partners, both the railroad and the federal government, for working with us to minimize the disruption to Colorado motorists, to interstate commerce, and to work to return this Highway 25 to be open as quickly as possible.
Governor, follow up to that. Did you say BNSF is paying for the repairs of the bridge and what happened here? Is that what you just said?
Matt, I think what did we say on that?
We're going to have a lot of discussions on some of those back-end resolutions, but again, that's going to be another question for the railroad.
Thank you.
All right, I think that's all set.
Thank you.
Thank you.